Well, good afternoon and welcome into this coverage of the National Women's Championship. Andrew Dewhurst with you alongside Hidamaya Nata as we bring you coverage of Western Springs up against Southern United at Seddon Fields in Auckland. This is day two of the competition. In the first round, beautiful conditions for this one this afternoon. And as I mentioned, the competition already underway. So a couple of results yesterday with Capital Football going down against Eastern Suburbs. And for Suburbs, goodness me, Taylor O'Brien scoring all 4 goals in that one. And Canterbury United, the Pride, they've been so strong in recent years. They were first up winners 3-0 over Central Football. Springs and Southern and Auckland United, Northern Rovers, the double header this afternoon. Final huddle for the two teams as we have a look at the lineups this afternoon. And for Southern and Chris Ridley, Simmers in goal, and Power and Room, the two fullbacks. Morton, the captain, such a key player in this side, ever present for them last year, of course, the defending champions. And they'll look for the goals from the likes of Woolley, Diaz and Whitaker. They were so impressive, Southern United, last season in that victory. And they're up against Western Springs at home here this afternoon. Springs, runners-up in the Northern League. And they will start with the likes of Garcia and Tafuru looking to score the goals alongside Mayo up front. And they play with a back four, a 4-3-3 formation, and look for young Leah Kolpe, the under-17 winger, to be a real impact player. Lara Kolpe wearing that 25 jersey in midfield. So just about ready to get underway. As mentioned, Harry Nata joins me, and Harry, perfect conditions here, and no excuse for these two teams to really put on a bit of a show this afternoon.
Yeah, absolutely. Andrew, good afternoon. Looking forward to this, this second game of this first round of the New Zealand National Women's Championship between these two clubs. Southern obviously had a fantastic result in their regional, winning all 11 games going into this opening round. And Western Springs, as you said, finishing second with 14 wins as they came into this game this afternoon.
Yeah, Springs the only team to get a win over Northern Rovers in the league. Of course, Rovers have had such a wonderful season, but they did lose to Western Springs in Northern League action, as it is the Springs playing from right to left in their traditional green and white hoops up against Southern, the visitors. Great to be able to bring you this coverage on Sky Sport Next streaming service. Plenty of coverage right through the National Women's League as we get a chance to showcase the talent from right around the country. So first defensive duties here for Jadasi Ulavili getting back to cover, the number 6. So the Western Springs in a traditional 4-3-3. We are told that Southern will operate in a bit of a 4-1-2-3 formation, with Rose Morton playing that base of the diamond, that holding midfield role, the skipper for Southern. We'll just keep an eye on how they do perhaps change their shape just to combat what the opposition might be doing. Into midfield they go, and a nice turn by Painenberg. And again, it's Western Springs at the back. Under a little pressure this time, though. Just getting a foot in there in time was Lily Jervis.
Early touches.
And some pressure being applied on that occasion by the number 17. So it does look as though there's been a change, and the reason there was a pause there, Harry, is because in our team information we had Samantha Woolley on the bench, but she's out there wearing the 17. Right side midfield for Southern to start this match. So the word we're getting is that Jasmine Prince failed a fitness test just prior to the game, so a late scratching with the Prince out of the game, and Samantha Woolley coming into the lineup. Now with an opportunity, play continues, no free kick given as Diaz was bundled over, and that cross out harmlessly for the goal kick. Taken quickly and taken short by Western Springs, and they start to make some progress now down this right wing side. A little settling in period here, Harry. These two teams just sounding each other out. And as I say, the formation's always interesting. If teams line up with different shapes, who reacts first? There's a chance now for the Springs on the break, and this could well be the first goal of the game. There's no flag here, and the goal is tucked away by the American, Sophia Garcia. And out of nothing, just as I was saying, Harry, that they really weren't firing too many shots, Southern will be very disappointed at how easily they've let Garcia in around the back.
Yeah, we're just going to say Southern were quite happy to drop off and let Western Springs have the ball, but Garcia, number 4 there, Lily Jervis, playing a ball over the top. And Garcia, nice and composed, easy finish for the Western Springs number 10. Scored 10 goals in the regular season. Garcia, top goal scorer for Western Springs, and she's since added to that tally.
Well, that was a bit of a shock. It really came out of nothing, and Southern, the defending champions, they'd be very disappointed.
Yeah, but I think, you know, Western Springs has certainly had the best of the opening sort of 5 minutes. Andrew looking to move the ball into midfield. You talked about Lara Colpe at number 20. But Springs very confident coming out of the back.
Here's Jervis again, and that one doesn't come to anything effectively from an attacking point of view, but Springs and Southern just need to try and make their way through the next 5 or 10 minutes without any further pain. Seddon Fields of activity across any weekend, a number of pitches here, and you can see in the background there are junior matches being played. It really is a bustling, busy football club.
And it's one of the benefits to multi-seasonal playing service, particularly in the winter with the rain and the conditions. It's fantastic to be able to have a surface like this.
Springs through Dyer. Side of defence, and now playing as a winger. Dyer gets through. Another attacking opportunity, looking for options. Ran out of them, really. Needed to perhaps look square or indeed be a little more patient. So she just had eyes to go forward. Midfield battle here. The battles within the war, and so far in the opening 7 minutes or so, they're being won, most of them, by the home team. Interchange of passes with Ulavili and Jervis. This time Southern win the 50-50. Mackay Wright, and that's asking too much of Woolley. Just pointed at the corner flag and said chase that, but she was never a chance to haul it in.
Yeah, Southern quite happy to drop off and let Western Springs have the ball at the back and look to really congest the middle of the park. We saw good interception there from Abby Rankin. Margarita Diaz playing the sole striker up front, sort of leading the line. Got Sam Woolley and Chelsea Whitaker playing off her on either side.
Southern, who won that title in such dramatic circumstances on the final day of the season. They're under a little pressure here in the opening minutes of their 2022 campaign. A little step over was effective in beating the first defender, but good cover there from JDC Ulavili. Springs, of course, will have the advantage, if you like, of knowing how to get the most out of this artificial playing surface. Handy ball played over the top, but Ulavili started well, really composed at the back, her and her central defensive partner Jervis. Woolley maintains possession. Springs through Taitimu. Looking for space wide on this right wing side, but the goal scorer can't keep that one in play on that occasion. It's putting defenders under a little pressure. And space here for Woolley. Turns straight into a defender. Just not yet composed enough on the ball, Southern. Turning it over very quickly. Taitimu now. Garcia. It's a teasing ball down this right wing side. And cross on the edge of the area. This might fall for Western Springs. That's a great chance. And Painenberg has to hit the target there.
Yeah, absolutely, Andrew. Look, kind of see their pattern of play. Ball and good touches in the middle of the park, getting the ball out wide. Just unfortunate. Painenberg there. Just all the time in the world. Unable to hit the target.
Yeah, looked a little hesitant to really put her laces through the football. Of course, was a part of that New Zealand under-20 team at the World Cup. Did not get a chance to take to the field, though, so you'd think she'd be very keen to make an impression in this National League, and that was her chance early in this one. Springs do look the better team, though. Not just on the scoreboard with that Sofia Garcia goal, but they've just looked a little more incisive coming through midfield. Here's Southern now with an opportunity. And just getting back there was Sophia Dyer, threatened to open up a little bit. It's a good challenge coming in from Power. They're just not maintaining possession though, are they, Harry? They're not stringing passes together, the Southern team.
I think the intensity from Western Springs, particularly in midfield, here we go again. Always, you see with it when Southern are trying to play out, there's always a green and white jumper or defender putting pressure on the blue jersey. Yeah, they're not letting Southern settle into any sort of rhythm, Western Springs, particularly in the middle of the park.
Painenberg trying to come away with this. A bit of a stalemate there between the two teams. Neither could come away with the ball, and now they do. And it is young Kolpe rolls a pass and might yet fall here for Western Springs in the penalty area. They're just struggling to clear their lines, Southern. Really didn't create a lot on her own there, Sam Tawhuru, but she was almost gifted the chance for a chance on goal. What can they build here now? All the way back to keeper Amelia Simmons. Springs Garcia looks a real threat. Harry mentioned the goals that she scored this season already. Cross comes in. Simmons had to keep an eye on that, but just onto the roof of the net.
Yeah, again, a lot of luck for, or not so much luck, but getting more more angles on the right-hand side, more flow of movement and support for their players on that right-hand side.
Loose pass into midfields. Tony Power now for Southern. Again, the passes are just not hitting the targets. If we were to hear what he might be trying to communicate at the moment, it might just be to simplify things. Just look for the 5 metre pass to feet. Let's just try and get ourselves into the game.
Well, I really think it's probably, again, another level of quality that they're up against this afternoon, with all due respect to the teams that Southern United have been playing, and the players have come through. Dunedin City Royals make up the majority of the Southern United side. You know, they went through unbeaten in their league this year.
Simmers under a little pressure. Yeah, well, the challenge, of course, is they've got the target on the back as well, haven't they? Having won the competition, which, to be fair, was a surprise, if not a shock to a lot of people. But they've got to back it up and go again this season. Nice footwork there by Emily Morrison. It's a little better. 2, 3, 4 passes now to feet. And the last pass for the advancing Sam Woolley just went awry. Oh, Jervis, great composure. Springs now, here's the goal scorer. Might well have been her first touch in the match as well, when she did tuck it away. Sophia Garcia, just one touch to elude the keeper, and second a tap into an empty net. Dyer. And this is Western Springs just giving a little lesson here to Southern in just keeping possession. Good composure, Harry. They're just moving Southern around.
I think Southern need to make they never have dropped off from a forward line perspective and let Jervis and Ulavili have the majority of the ball. But they have to make a choice at some times whether to put some pressure on the ball to try and push their midfield up, force them into some mistakes at the back. Because at the moment it's just far too easy for particularly the back two and Jervis and Ulavili for Western Springs.
And again, look at the pass there. It's all very well 2 strikers pushing forward, but
that's right.
If that's a pass that's open, they're going to break that press every time. They're looking good, Western Springs. And they have that early goal to show for their efforts. Tawhuru now. The diminutive figure of Lily Taitumu in midfield. Room with the switch of play. Oh, that was a physical challenge, but it was an important one from Sophia Dyer. And there's a whistle here just to make sure, I think, that the Southern player, is it Sam Woolley? No, there's Sam, the forefront of our
Emily
picture.
Morrison.
And concerned that it might be a head knock, Harry, for Emily Morrison. So referee doing the right thing here and just immediately getting some attention. So Riley Greenbury, the referee, was alert to the concerns here for Emily Morrison. But that was more promising for Southern. They strung 2 or 3 passes together down that left wing side, then the incisive pass into the attacking third. She certainly felt that contact. And as is the case in sport at all levels, there is always genuine concern with any sort of a head knock. So they may well just take Emily's sideline here, Harry, and run another couple of tests perhaps. Keeping in mind, though, that Jasmine Prince failed a fitness test prior to the match, so they took one away from their bench. I'm sure Chris Ridley would not want to make effectively a second change this early in the match, but she doesn't look too good here to me.
I think they should be leaning on the side of caution as well, don't they? As you said, Chris Ridley, bit of a lean squad with that forced change before the match on Jasmine Prince.
So we saw Jasmine there, just the wrong side of the fence with the subs bib on. Maybe she might still be an option for Chris Ridley. Jasmine Prince, maybe she's good for 20 minutes at the end of the match. We don't know what the nature of the injury was, but she was initially listed in the starting lineup, but was replaced before kickoff by Samantha Woolley. So for the moment, Southern will play on with 10. Ulavili towards Tawharu, but she can't control the flick on. So it will be fascinating to see if there is a shift in where the power base is in this league. Of course, we've stepped away from we have a hybrid, don't we, with clubs the likes of Springs, Northern Rovers. We have federation teams with Southern, Capital, Canterbury Pride. So there's going to be a bit of a mix, and that might see a little shift in where the dominant teams come from. The Springs, for the moment, are trying to dominate here. Taitimu, edge of the area. Another shooting chance, and that one goes just wide. Again, it was Painenberg. This was a little more measured as she tried to... But again, second time in the opening 20 minutes, could not hit the target.
Yeah, second chance for Emma Painenberg there, just outside the box. A measured shot there, just trying to bend that one into the top corner.
So they're still playing with 10, Southern, and we're hearing that Morrison's not going to return. So that will be a substitution coming up for coming off the bench momentarily, but we're hearing from the ground that Emily Morrison will not continue. For the moment, they have to battle on with 10. And Springs would love to double their advantage. Painenberg. Wide on the left now is Dyer. Good pass, edge of the penalty area now, just couldn't quite control. And Southern just happy to clear that out over the sideline. Painenberg. Southern have possession. They give it away very quickly. Taitimu, no, in fact it was Kolpe. And her potential attack is cut out by Southern. Jervis. Taitimu. Down this right wing side, lovely ball, but well read on that occasion by Kelsey Kennard, getting across the centre back. There's the intervention from the referee's assistant. We're going to see that change, and it is Megan Leslie, the British footballer, who comes on. So if Jasmine Prince is not available in any way, shape or form, their resources are very much depleted, and it looks, Harry, as though Leslie's going to go to left fullback. And there's just a little shuffle, a little change in the personnel, if not the shape. Looked like it might have been Talia Room, I think, who's come up into midfield. So this is not the start to their campaign that they wanted, Harry. Dyer overlapping. Springs are just finding teammates with passes.
Yeah, I don't think Southern United have been able to get close to Springs, particularly in the middle of the park. Just far too much room, too much time on the ball. Dyer here, just all the time in the world. Jervis, no real pressure on her on the halfway line. Are quite happy and easy enough for them to sort of play out from those tight situations.
Ulavili's pass is cut out. Southern now, what have they got on the counter-attack? Stringing a couple of passes to get.
From Celia Mayo, and then Garcia making no mistake from the far post there for her second goal of this afternoon.
It was a lovely cross from Celia Mayo, but I think Southern, when they look back at the tape, they might think they should be dealing with a cross like that. Whether it's the keeper, Harry, or certainly the fullback, you've just got to be stronger there and win the header.
Well, I do think, Andrew, I mean, you stop the cross, don't you? There was a back heel there from Celia Mayo. Again, more time on the ball for those Springs players to execute something like that.
Yeah, certainly the best way of dealing with a cross is stop it.
Stop the cross.
Taitimu gets the return pass. There's Mayo. Taitimu's continued her run now, left wing side. And that's taken a deflection off Dyer, so this will be a Southern throw. Well, they'll do well just to regroup here and get through to half-time without any more damage, Southern. They're certainly looking, by some distance, the second best team here. Oh, stepping on the ball. I think that was Maggie Pedersen. Didn't see the number. Into the area they go again, the Springs. Eventually the shot is blocked. Might start to open up a little in midfield if Springs are drawn into attack after attack. Well, that's a great challenge in the process, playing a great ball down this right wing side. Chance now for Diaz. Lovely turn. Margarita Diaz into the area. Can she get an angle to shoot? She was trying to line it up, and eventually the cover was there for the Springs.
Yeah, nice bit of work from number 11 Diaz there, working in a tight situation across the goal line. Unfortunate for her that the support was just quite laboured and getting there to her.
Southern, certainly that was their best moment of the match so far. Mayo with a strong challenge for the Springs. Winning it back again was power, but they just don't hold on to possession for long enough, Southern, to cause any real threats. Here's Tawharu now for the Springs. A little bit isolated, waits for support. Yeah, great patience.
Used their strength as well, Tawharu, very well. And again, Springs just, controlling the tempo out from the back.
All the way through to Simmers. And Springs jump in there into midfield and win possession, albeit just momentarily. Maggie Peterson doing a good job from fullback to read that pass. Nice run through midfield. Now this opens up for Southern. Diaz is the one player up with this attack, and there was no patience shown. A shot from a long way out on the angle was going to have to be something very special.
Again, the support from Southern United to get in support. I think it was Talia Room at that with that shot on the left-hand side. Sort of gathered that ball in isolation, and obviously that was the only real option she had, was to try and shoot from a distance. She was getting closed down.
Southern have shown glimpses. I certainly think a better performance is in them than we've seen over the opening 30 minutes of this one. But they've just not settled consistently. Found teammates, but there's two or three good passes.
Yeah, that's a lot better, isn't it, this passage of play? Coming out from the back, through midfield, out was on the right-hand side here.
Springs had a couple of those chances from the edge of the area for Emma Painenberg. And here now offside against Garcia, who is the player with the 2 goals. But outside of those opportunities, it's not as though they've been stinging the gloves of Amelia Simmers. They had the 2 chances. The goal was just out of the blue. And Garcia's second was from an attack that perhaps could and should have been defended. So Southern, I think, will go to half-time feeling that they've got a lot of improvement in them. With a 2-0 scoreline, Harry, Springs can just settle in. That pass has gone awry, but they don't have to have the urgency. No. They can just settle into a passing possession game and let Southern come out at them.
Yeah, there's definitely been an edge to the first sort of 25, 30 minutes from Springs, and they've just, I think, been more sedate now in their with their energy, and quite happy just to try and keep the ball. We saw a couple of chances, as you alluded to, from Painenberg earlier on. But Southern have had their moments, particularly in midfield. They've a couple of nice movements, and the shot earlier on, I think it was from Talia Room.
Woolley. And even Rose Morton there just didn't appear to want to go back. Sometimes you have to get your head up and look and turn back out again to find some space, find a teammate. Lara Colby with the ambitious switch of play. Garcia might make something of it. Whitaker. And again, Jervis, a tall, rangy player. She just steps in and reads the pass, makes the interception. Dyer will win the race here with Woolley. Or confusion though. Southern with a chance now to get back in the match, and they have. Diaz. Well, you talk about Southern gifting chances for Western Springs. That is absolutely handed on a plate. Real confusion. And Western Springs at the heart of their defence. And Margarita Diaz does not need a second invite.
I was just going to say that it was not a bad ball from Southern because you get the towards their own goal. And this type of thing can happen. Miscommunication potentially at the back. Capitalising on some lapse of concentration there. Lily Jervis trying to get across, but in the end it was a simple finish from Diaz.
Well, it's always a funny scoreline, 2-0. You'd love to be on the right side of it, but if you are the next team to score and bring it to 2-1, it can totally change the mood of the game. And certainly halts momentum immediately. So Southern are back in the contest. Let's see what it does for their headspace, and that's a very rare free kick in the opening 35 minutes. We've hardly had any whistle. Goes the way of Southern.
Well, hopefully this does give the Southern players some confidence, because that's the first time they've got in behind. A ball has played it in behind one of the Springs wider defenders. And you may think you're chasing a lost clause, because you know it's you're virtually running towards the corner flag. But again, a lapse in concentration. Bad ball across from Western Springs defence, and Diaz was there to capitalise.
Well, now they absolutely will look to get to half-time with this scoreline, or perhaps even improve on it, Southern. At 2-0 down, I was thinking, gee, don't concede anymore. Just get to the break and have a chat with the coach and see if you can just settle into this match a little more effectively in the second half. But they've given themselves a lifeline. Here's the goal scorer. And again, it's just a pass played in hope from Samantha Woolley. Just have some patience on the ball. Jervis for Dyer. It's a little dangerous as well from Dyer, so they get away with it, but I think Dyer's just been told by the bench in the forefront of our picture there that that wasn't exactly a great percentage pass. Peterson with the throw. Garcia trying a hat-trick, remember. A little room for Tawhuru. The cross comes in, eludes everyone. Woolley, that's a clever pass. What have they got on the counter here? Diaz, there'll be no one else in front of her now. She's the most advanced of the Southern players. And that's possibly the biggest message, the biggest work on for Southern is if you've got possession and no teammates, find a way to be patient and just hold on to the ball. Wait for support to get there. Garcia. Painenberg. Heavy first touch. That one given away again too cheaply by Southern. So Western Springs, as we approach 38 minutes played, day 2 in round 1 action of the National Women's League. Springs and Southern looking to join day 1 winners, Eastern Suburbs with a 4-1 win over Capital, and Canterbury, who were 3-0 winners over Central. Oh, Painenberg taken out. Dyer, good advantage played here by the referee. No question that was worthy of a free kick, possibly a card. Tawhuru, Garcia turns. Southern had the players back in cover. The referee's looking around here, Harry. So no card shown, but just having a word with a player on the run.
Good. Yep. In there. Yeah. Right over here. Are we on this side? Okay.
One of the players who wasn't listed to start but is now out there. Megan Leslie with the throw.
Yeah, they are, but I back up record.
Leslie having replaced Emily Morrison
What am I going to ask?
after 20 minutes or so, with Morrison taking a little head knock. I say little, any head knock is worthy of serious attention. And Emily Morrison, she did leave the field under her own steam, but looked a little dazed and was replaced by Leslie. Power.
Tamara, can you go to channel 4?
Southern showing a little patience here by just resetting, going across that back line. 50-50 ball, they'll win the throw, Southern.
You and I can just talk here.
Okay, we're good to go.
Yeah, it's better from Southern, that second phase ball, which has started to win
So you're saying it's glitchy. That's probably the wrong. I'll just change that.
on
Sorry.
this right-hand side.
I'll just try and I'll talk to Bjorn and see if he's done with his test.
Open it out, see if they can shift the Western Springs team around a little, impact their shape. Pass not able to be controlled by Tony Power, and that might open up a space in behind the Southern fullback now. Mayo.
Yeah, Western Springs love to move that ball quickly in those wider areas when they're playing the ball into midfield, into Colby or Pennenberg.
Leslie. Good support there from Diaz, just coming out of the attacking line to provide an option for the fullback. Power now. Through to Jervis, and she plays it accurately out of the heart of the Springs defence. Morton now. Back she goes. They start again, Southern. Looking to put some pressure on down this left wing side. And back to the keeper. And Angelique Tui Samoa has not really been under any pressure so far this afternoon, despite the fact she has had to pick the ball out of the back of a net once. The nature of the goal, though, there was little that the Western Springs keeper could do. They go long down this right wing side, one for Power to chase. Fullback on fullback. Dyer. Oh, a little nervous again. They might be in here. Surely it's an equaliser. Oh my goodness me. How is it not 2-2? That was almost carbon copy of the first goal.
I was just going to say, their best chance, I think, from Southern, you've seen this afternoon, is getting that ball over or in behind those wide areas for behind Western Springs, because your defenders like this, putting pressure on, running towards your own goal, bit of uncertainty. She should have really finished that, DS. She would have been so disappointed she wasn't able to at least force Tui Samoa into a save. Quite easily have been 2-2 going into half-time, potentially a couple of minutes to go, obviously, but...
Well, I'm not sure now, Harry, with what we're seeing. I'm not sure who's going to be the unhappier of the two coaches. I think Ryan Faithfull might have some real concerns about the way his team is defending at times.
I think just too casual at times, I think, as well. There's a mistake there from Dyer running back towards her own goal. That's what led to that first goal from Diaz, wasn't it?
Yeah, I wondered. I just got the feeling that that first goal was still there in the memory banks, and Dyer did not want to pass the ball towards her own keeper. And she just got caught in two minds when the simple approach was simply to get that out over the sideline. So they've had one decent shock to the system, almost a second for Western Springs in the shadows now of half time. Final 60 seconds. There might be a little added time for that injury and the attention to Emily Morrison, but other than that, it has been a very free-flowing half of football with very little whistle. So we're hearing that there will be 3 minutes of time added on, so it just highlights that perhaps there was a good couple of minutes there for the attention that was given to Emily Morrison. So 3 minutes of time added on, and that will start in about 7 seconds from now. The ball played over the top, but it's a rare moment where there's been a ball played out towards the wings of Western Springs, and they've not had anyone there. Tawhuru just making a nuisance of herself. So perhaps a time for another attacking foray here for Western Springs. Lara Kolpe comes away with possession. Painenberg goes wide. Pedersen goes wider. Garcia. Pedersen with the overlapping run. It was promising, but Southern have just made the adjustments, and Springs are now forced back towards halfway. They have been, by some margin, the better of the two teams at maintaining possession. But as we've seen, mistakes can prove costly. And Dyer won't keep that one in play. And despite the dominance of possession and looking the more confident of the two teams, Southern will go to the break, Harry, at just 2-1 down, thinking that they can lift their own performance and challenge Western Springs in the second half.
The chances they have created, I'm sure, will give them some confidence. They just need to sort of keep their discipline at the back. I mean, Sam Tawhuru leading the line for Western Springs, keep her under control. Garcia, we know we've seen her drift across to the right-hand side a few times late in this first half. Keep her away from and in around the 18-yard box. And if they can, try and expose Western Springs in the second half, in behind their wide players, particularly at the back. I think that's where they'll get their some benefits.
Jervis over the top. It was Route 1 stuff for the opening goal of the match for Garcia, but that one was cut out by Southern. They don't want to be caught out twice in the first half with the same play. Leslie sells a teammate short there. Is there time here for the Springs? Tawhuru. Garcia on the left foot, so doesn't get any real purchase on the shot, and comfortably through to Amelia Simmers, and she will be delighted, I'm sure, to head to the dressing rooms at just 2-1 down. Western Springs in the opening 20-25 minutes looked like they might threaten to run away with this one, with the two Sophia Garcia goals. They're then answered with Margarita Diaz scoring on the back of a Western Springs mistake, and she very nearly repeated the dose a few minutes later, but couldn't capitalise. But at half-time here at Seddon Fields, it is Western, the Northerners, the home team. They lead Southern United by 2-1.
Is Fred packing up and going straight to the next, going straight to Keith Hay?
Yeah, I don't know, I'm not sure.
Obviously, you've cameras set up there already.
That's a really poor free kick. And the ball taken quickly, and he scores! A comedy of errors from the Central Coast. Jumped on by Tainui Tahau. And it is AS Venus that draw first blood. But that is a horror show from the Central Coast. Their own free kick that just coughed up possession. And then Tahau has really caught goalkeeper Philip Mango napping. And after 11 minutes, it's 1-0 to the Tahitians. Referee Mederi Lacour from New Caledonia blows his whistle to get us underway. 45 minutes for Central Coast to get themselves back into this game. Really quick early opportunity, and it's 3-0. Hat-trick for Tainui Tahau, and just the start that AS Venus would have talked about in the changing rooms at half-time. Here come Galaxy down the right flank, delivered into the penalty area, missed by the keeper. Chance, ball driven across the goal, and it's an own goal. It's an own goal, and first blood is for the Galaxy. Emmanuel Simon, their captain, with the shots, but turned in at that near post by one of the Lay City players. For Emmanuel Simon to aim at. Drills this one to Willie, and it's an own goal, a second own goal. And this time it's Dondi Kilatia who turns the ball into his own net. 45 minutes for both these sides to register a win in the opening match of the Champions League. And a chance straight away, and it's Kenzie Tangis who got between the two defenders. All power, all pace from Tangis, and it was a horrible mix-up at the back for Lay City. And straight from the kickoff, it is the Galaxy that take a 2-1 lead. It's a good tackle. Chance to break forward here. Lay City into the penalty area, chance to score, and they do! Beautifully constructed goal. And Jonathan Allen it was, who popped up just outside the 6-yard box to stroke that ball home. Lovely passing on the edge of the penalty area. And it is Lay City that get themselves back to 2-2. Front row of the stand. And here's a chance, and it's the first goal. Poorly defended. Free kick just dropped into the 6-yard box. And it was Adam Mitchell who got in on the end of the cross. And after just 7 minutes, Auckland City have opened their accounts in the 2022 Champions League. Just waiting for to actually offer some resistance. Cam Howson running out of midfield. Cam Howson, can he make it 2? Yes, he can. Simple as that. And that's the benefit of the patient build-up. Kumar, another searching run from Kumar, puts the ball on a plate, and there is the second goal. Tavita Wairanavalu with his run out of midfield. It was a fantastic ball from Kumar. It was a sweeping move down the left flank. Yeah, beautifully finished by Wairanavalu. Again, goes for the 1-2. For another one. Plays wide. Delivery from Kumar. And a free header. That's 3-0. Sahid gets his second of the afternoon. Slinging delivery, and there's the goal. It was an in-swinging delivery. And just in time, it's Kevin Barb. Delivery in, and it's the goal. It's a great delivery. And that's that danger man, Kenzie Tangus, we spoke about. Henry, you pointed these two out in your opening remarks, Moses and Tangus, and they combined for the first goal. Well, dare say, Central Coast had been inviting pressure, not clearing their lines, and you give Tangus an opportunity inside the 18-yard box, and he takes it. Again, good delivery, and a clean header, and it's Junior Fordney, and some would say against the run of play.
Willis lost the ball, and he can have got it again. And there's a goal. It's quite a score. Waiting for the offside flag, but it's staying down. Ranchain scored it. And it's on target. Good save by the keeper. Put in though. And it's a second goal for Auckland City. And it's being tipped in by Mario Illich. And a wonderful corner from Howison. And the keeper not able to handle it. Great pass from Tade. Oh, that's classic Emiliano Tade right there. He's got eyes in the back of his head. Oh, here's Fordney shaking off the defence. Fordney, here's a chance, it's 2 goals. Big chance there, and they've taken it. Fantastic scoring from Central Coast. What good work from Junior Fordney. Break out like that, very dangerous. Hard for the other team to get back on defence. Nice play. Here's a chance, big chance here, and they've got one back. Lay City, some beautiful finishing inside the area there. And it's Matthew David who scored the goal. Here's Carlo from long range. Oh, brilliant goal!
What a strike.
That is absolute class from Moncalo. And that is how to score a goal in a game of football. Oh yes, he's got it in. There is the goal. And now the game changes big time. What a free kick. Absolutely brilliant from Fonzie Ranchain. It's 1-0. It's Mitchell. Bariga. A very good game. There's a lovely ball into Tade. And Emiliano Tade gets the third goal, brilliantly finished. And the ball from Garriga to him was a gem. And it's going to be another OFC Champions League to Auckland City.
Scored by number 20, Emiliano Tade.
Well, welcome back to Seddon Fields here in Western Springs, and it is the home side who have the advantage 2-1 at the break, but it's perhaps an advantage they might have looked to have been even more dominant with, as we have a look at the highlights from the first half. And this came out of nothing. The through ball for Garcia, one touch around the keeper, and this and the next 15 or 20 minutes, Harry, they really looked as though they were making it appear very easy, Western Springs.
They were quite comfortable, weren't they, in the first 15 or 20 minutes, Western Springs. And that one there from Garcia, fantastic sort of piece of ball across from the top. And this was Emma Painenberg, just out from the outside of the box. She had a couple, this was the second of her two chances that she had in the first half. And this was the second goal. Nice bit of interchange on the left-hand side, far post.
Yeah, Mayo with the cross.
And Garcia again with her second. Dewey, great finish.
Very, very tight angle, and she was allowed to hit that one home. And Southern then started to find their moments in the attacking third, and it was this pressure out of nothing. I mean, look at this. Look at the time that Dyer has here.
Yeah, all the time in the world.
And Jervis assumes the keeper's going to be there, and all it was Diaz with a simple goal. And they're back in the match, as Diaz just couldn't believe her luck here. Turns, and with a 2-1 scoreline, and this was almost a carbon copy.
It was, wasn't it? We talked about kind of the best chances that Southern have had when they played the ball over the top, in behind the Springs defence. And again, Diaz with this chance, should have made it 2 actually from this sort of range, given the chances that she scored in regular season, and that one, she'd be disappointed she didn't hit the back of the net.
So second half underway, and it is the Springs who will look back more fondly on those halftime highlights, but they'll be concerned at the way they were defending. And for Southern, that might be their lifeline back into the match, to get them behind the Springs fullbacks and put some pressure on them. I can tell you, though, that Sophia Dyer, who was involved in both of those moments that were causing the most concern for the Springs at the back, she's off, been replaced by, I believe, Arisa Takeda, who was on. And Celia Mayo also has made way for the Springs. So a couple of changes at halftime made by Ryan Faithful. So it is the two Japanese players, Rina Hirano and Arisa Takeda, who come on to make an impact in the second half for the Springs. I would imagine Chris Ridley won't want to make too many more changes too quickly, given that he's only got Partridge Moore and Hannay left on the bench, given that Samantha Woolley was brought into the starting lineup for the late failing of a fitness test by Jasmine Prince. And then we saw Emily Morrison leave the field as Southern defend well and importantly find a teammate. Can they transition from those defensive moments onto attack? So what do you expect, Harry, in the second half here as we continue our streaming coverage on Sky Sport Next? Do you think that Southern will look to be a little more direct and just get the ball in behind the fullbacks?
Yeah, look, I think that's worked for them particularly in the first half with the goal, with Diaz's goal and the second clear-cut chance that she should have scored. Both balls played over behind Sophia Dyer. Obviously, she's left the pitch in the second half, so I think that will give Southern a lot of confidence that they can. If they can break up play, particularly in the middle of the park like this, and get players running in behind, a more direct approach, I think that would, they should create a couple of more chances.
And looking back at those highlights, I'm not sure Diaz needed a touch on that second one. I mean, a first-time shot either side of Angelique Tui-Samoa, and surely she makes it 2-2. It was almost as though taking that first touch just allowed Tui-Samoa to reposition herself as the Springs now down this left wing side with Garcia, the American, putting her stamp on this National Women's League early in her campaign. Broken up by Southern though. And let's see if they can string a few passes together now.
I think on Springs' side too, sorry Dewey, is the two Japanese players that have come on have both scored goals in the regular season. So Hirado scored 8 goals, Takeda 3 goals to her through the course of the season. So perhaps there's a bit of a bit more positive play that Western Springs are looking to employ, getting more of attacking momentum going on, pushing Southern further back into their own half. And looking for particularly those two players to create a bit more going forward.
Well, just making an impact there is Rina Hirano. Turn in midfield and advancing. Whitaker's a little lucky not to get a yellow card there, clearly pulling the shirt of Hirano. Jervis looking for a teammate. And credit Southern. They just made some adjustments and just making a little harder, cutting off some of those passing lanes that Lily Jervis was finding pretty easy in the first half. In behind them though, almost sneaking in round the back was Lara Kolpe. Leslie just recovered in time. Ulavili. Just a little shimmy. Little change in direction, bought herself a little time.
Yeah, I've been impressed with Emma Painenberg in the first half too, Andrew. I think the 2 chances that she had on her left foot, even the way she's protecting the ball, you can see she gets her body position, she's confident on the ball, she's got good feet.
Kolpe with the cross, punched away, didn't look too comfortable, did she, Amelia Simmers, but did the job. Yeah, all that was missing from that performance by Painenberg was in fact a goal,
finishing,
putting one of those chances away. Ulavili with a good intercept. Here is the player we're talking about, young Emma Painenberg. That pass looking for Tawhuru. She run one way, the pass went the other. Jervis back to her keeper, Tui-Samoa, gets it back again. Western Springs, their turn to be a little aimless. There was no one sitting high in the line. So it was a rather aimless through ball on that occasion. Springs just backing off a little. They're quite content if that's the quality of the pass coming from the back four of Southern. Kennard back to her keeper. Mackay right. Power, a little ball into midfield, continues her run. Tony Power. Certainly a much improved Southern generally since about the 25-30 minute mark. Chance now for Springs to perhaps catch them on the hop here. Tawharu. Good movement from the Springs attacking players. Always looking to stay involved. Shot from a long way out was going to be something pretty special to trouble the keeper, but didn't get very far. It was blocked pretty quickly. Jervis robbed of possession. Southern come away with it. Whitaker looking for the run of Margarita Diaz. Good intervention there from Kennard. The longer this goes, with just the one goal separating the two teams, the more Southern might think they can effect a little smash and grab job here and pinch something out of this game. Ulavili. The hand was up there from Painenberg. No concern from the officials. Ulavili very strong there in the face of the challenge from Diaz.
You think those two central defenders for Springs be quite happy with balls, with the play in front of them. They're both very strong. Jervis and Ulavili as well.
Morton is the most advanced of the Southerners at the moment and almost causing a little havoc in the Springs defence. Taitimu. So here's one of the subs in Takeda, and certainly looks as though Hirano's operating in more of a midfield role, so perhaps providing some attacking impetus from midfield. Ball played down the right wing side, chance for Kolpe to chase, and she will keep this in comfortably. Lara Kolpe, has she got support in the area? Yes, she has, and there's a third goal. Well, that's well crafted, well finished by Hirano. So the substitute has an impact immediately. But Southern might be asking the questions. I was wondering, where is the support for Kolpe? Southern appeared to have plenty of defenders back, Harry, but Hirano just timed her run superbly.
That was a fantastic ball from Kolpe as well, wasn't it? And what a great touch from Hirano to finish that ball. Nice ball played down the right-hand side. You see Kolpe here, no pressure on her from Southern. Enough time to measure that ball into Hirano. What a great touch from there from the Japanese player.
And credit to Lara Kolpe as well, because she did look up and looked at where the support runners were, and she absolutely hit the target.
It was a great run from Hirano too, across the face of the keeper, and it was a great touch with her right foot too. It actually just let the pace of the ball. She just directed it onto goal.
Yeah, didn't need to swing at the ball, did she?
That's
just made contact and changed its pathway significantly enough to go beyond Simmers, and they restore that 2-goal advantage, Western Springs. Ironically, at a time where Southern looked to have been settling into the match, perhaps playing some of the better football that they have done so far this afternoon. Diaz can't pinch possession. Pedersen, like Jervis, very tall, very rangy, and like most of these Springs players, pretty calm on the ball. Oh, lovely turn. That's beautiful from Painenberg. Can she release the pass? She does to Kolpe. Best football of the match so far, to the edge of the penalty area, and that is the best goal of the match, and that is superb. Tawhuru with the finish, but beautifully crafted, and it all started with Emma Painenberg. What a turn in midfield and releasing Kolpe, and again she found a teammate with the cross.
As you said, Andrew, what the best move of the day, culminating in a fantastic finish from Tawhuru, but all the work done in the lead up to that goal. 2 or 3 players in particular, not so much, well, in particular this player, number 18. Painenberg probably been the player of the match so far for me, Dewey. Number 18 for Western Springs. And Tawhuru, what a fantastic finish for her as well.
And there's a little lesson here perhaps as well for Margarita Diaz. The first time finishers just pull the trigger when you're right in front of goal. Had she finished that at 2-2, this might be a different story, but the Springs have now sprung clear. They're 4-1 up and looking pretty comfortable.
Yeah, and Southern, as you said before, started the second half quite well. You know, they were competing. They didn't let Springs have all the play and the possession and dictate the rhythm like they did in the opening 15 or 20 minutes in the first half. But again, 2 quick goals from Springs certainly has given Southern all the work to do in the second half.
Oh, here's a chance now for Southern. Taitumu gets back and may well have been clattered late as well, but the referee, as has been consistent through the match so far, is largely leaving the whistle in the pocket. Emma Painenberg, I mentioned early on, went to the Under-20 World Cup, but did not get an opportunity to impress, didn't get out on the park. And she might be looking to just have a pretty strong start to her National League campaign, just to make a point perhaps. Southern, shooting chance for them, straight at Tui Samoa. Jervis for Takeda. Clever pass. Tawhuru almost always willing and able to come out of that attacking line and be available. Garcia, lovely turn, and then tried to beat one defender too many. Well, can Western Springs go on with this and really close this one down? At 4-1, they've already got the door half shut. Can they slam it? Perhaps one more goal, Harry does that. Offside here against Western Springs, but one of the challenges that Ryan Faithful may have given his players, we're second guessing of course, but may well have been, well, let's really go out and dominate. Let's not just win the game, but you're good enough. We shouldn't be in a tight contest at half time. We are, so let's go out and really dominate the second half. Stolen away, if not gifted away. Hirano, chance now for Tawhuru to make it 5, can't do so. The cover got back in time. Well run by the skipper, Rose Morton. They're just playing into a little breeze, nothing too dramatic as Painenberg makes a good run. Garcia, shot goes just into the back of a Southern player, and that took any pace out of it. Made it very comfortable for Simmers. You do feel, Harry, there's more goals in this match, though.
Yeah, definitely think Rena Harano on the come inside. That support for Tawharo up front has really made a difference to the Springs setup and the way they've played and attacked the game in this, particularly in the second half.
3-on-3 here, and Colby just took a little too long to make a decision. They might have won it back again, they have, and then turn it over. Intercepted. Takeda from a long way out. Well, I guess fair enough, why not? Their tails are up, looking to try and catch Simmers off her line, but the Southern keeper was alert to the danger. Yeah, I think what's interesting, Harry, is that they've almost left Sam Tawharo as a lone striker. Garcia's dropped a little deeper, and certainly Hirano is threatening from midfield, isn't she? So they're running into space, running into areas, and Southern haven't made the adjustment.
We're definitely looking to get players running off Tawharo in the second half. As you see, Garcia's dropped off into a left-hand position. You see her on the left-hand touchline there, on that side of the pitch. Hirano making those runs from midfield as well. So just a tweak in formation for Ryan Faithful. There's already 2 goals scored in the second half. The change of tactics proving fruitful for him.
Taitimu comes away with possession. She's looked pretty calm in midfield. Of course, this is the first of a double header. We'll follow this one with Auckland United up against Northern Rovers. That's a repeat, of course, of the recent Kate Shepherd Cup final, so looking forward to that one. We'll have the call on that pretty much immediately following this match from Seddon Fields. Takeda going direct. Cut out, though, by Kennard. And Takeda, she's been effective as well. Here she is now getting forward into the area, the fullback. And that will be comfortable for Simmers. Yeah, the Japanese pairing, perhaps a little surprised to see that they weren't in the starting lineup, and whether it's tactical or whether Ryan Faithful's just seen something else in his squad, but certainly they both suggested they might want to start next time out.
Well, unfortunate for Sophie Dyer in the first half, the goal and the good chance, the second chance for Diaz came over on her side. Although, you know, she looked to pass the ball back into Jervis for that first goal. Yeah, really a lapse of concentration for Western Springs in those two instances anyway. So, but both of them, as you said, Takeda and Hirano have started the second half very well for Springs.
I think we might have just got a shot there of Jeremy Ruane on the sideline. I think a decorated football journalist who has largely plied his trade on a voluntary basis, gives so much to the game, especially to women's football, and he'll be covering so many of these games in the National Women's League. Great to see Jeremy there. Sure that he'll have a post-match report up at some stage for people to enjoy as well. Will the Southerners enjoy reading it any more so than they might currently? 4-1 the score. They need something special to get back in this match. Takeda doing a little coaching here. You go that way. You go that way. Oh, okay. You don't want to go that way. There's a lot of directions, Harry, not much movement. There they go.
There we go.
It was straight off the playbook and it worked perfectly. And goes back to the keeper, Tui Samoa, for Uravili. Tawhuru again, and look at that. I mean, Pedersen into the game now. The right fullback gets around the back of the Southerners, and the cross is not to good effect. But, gee, that's straight from the halftime chat, I reckon, in terms of what they're trying to achieve. As Kolpe, that one goes ballooning over the crossbar. But we saw what you described earlier, Harry, in perfect action there, with Tawhuru coming out of that front line, bringing her wingers and fullbacks into the game.
Yeah, I definitely think there's a dimension to Tawhuru's game. She adds so much more than just a number 9 leading the line. You know, she draws people out. You get players running in behind her, Harano or Kolpe.
Jervis with a little extra added effort on that attempted pass. Mentioned just playing into a slight breeze. And oftentimes, you don't want that to be a gale force wind, of course, but oftentimes playing into a little zephyr can help. You just knock a ball over the back of a defence, knowing that the wind's just going to help hold it up, as Kolpe with some quick feet. Painenberg. Takeda. Southern just held their defensive midfield line there, though. Garcia. She'll be pretty keen to add a third goal and become the second scorer of a hat-trick in the opening weekend, of course. Taylor O'Brien's 4 goals for Eastern Suburbs. She's leading the Golden Boot race. Here's Kolpe around the back of them. Has she got support again? The young winger tries to find a target. Tawhuru further out beyond the penalty area, and the shot from distance from Takeda, when perhaps just needed to settle things and start the attack again.
Fantastic again from Kolpe on the right hand side. Tawhuru holding the ball up, bringing Takeda into the game, and a wayward shot there.
Simmers under no pressure on that occasion. It's Lara Kolpe's another one to impress, and I believe, Harry, that she's a player still eligible for under 17s football, so she'll be one perhaps to feature in the under 17 national side.
Yeah, she's had a solid game this afternoon, Lara Kolpe.
Where are they playing later this year? India, I think, the under 17. So the team to be selected there, as Painenberg is just robbed of possession by the hard-working Rose Morton. She was the Southerners' MVP last season, played every second of every game. Diaz, the goal scorer now. Lovely turn and quick feet, but Jervis came back for a second or a third opportunity to make the tackle.
Yeah, Diaz did well there because he had very little support, and this has probably been the pattern of the way Southern have played in the second half, is that they've just really failed to get players in forward positions. You see that again there, Diaz, the 10 or 15 metres ahead of the rest of her teammates. Did well to force a corner.
There's still plenty of time if they can get a second here. Headed towards goal. Good save, Tui Samoa. The header came in there. It may well have been Talia Room, but Tui Samoa called into action. One of the rare moments where she's been called into action. In fact, it was Power, wasn't it? Tony Power climbing. Just a little reminder, a little indication that we're saying there's plenty of time left to Harry. If they can get to 4-2, just a little spark and a little self-belief with 20 minutes or so to play, funnier things have happened in football.
Yeah, it's unfortunate for Southern. That just looks like the Diaz is kind of the only outlet for them up front, trying to get players in behind the ball to win the ball in the middle of the park. They just don't have the energy at this stage, I think, or the intensity to get forward and support Diaz or get players running in behind as they did in the first half.
Jervis. Southern with a reasonably high line and just forcing Jervis into a hopeful ball up towards halfway. That's handy towards Diaz. Couldn't bring a supporting player into the game though, and broken up by the two half-time substitutes. Here's Hirano, who already has the 1 goal since appearing for the second half. Painenberg has Kolpe available, and they did not get good service out to the winger. Pedersen towards Simmers, and it's over the keeper and in. And that is as good a fluke as you'll see in the National Women's League. No offence here to Maggie Pedersen. I have no doubt she did not intend that to be in the back of the net, Harry.
It looked like it was a cross intended, wasn't it? It caught Simmers off her line, however. What looked like a simple catch there for Simmers. Just misread the flight of the ball, didn't she?
It just floated, got caught on the breeze, and there's and I don't want to be unfair to Maggie. It's a goal, and you don't score unless you shoot. But certainly my impression was that was an attempted cross, and you take it all day long. But I think it was the fact it was an attempted cross that also caught the keeper out, because she just wasn't on her toes. So you would think, I was talking about the possibilities at 4-2, but at 5-1, Harry, this one now is all but done and dusted, you would think.
Yeah, what was 17 minutes plus added time. Be one for Southern just to try and consolidate now and minimise the, any further goals. Actually push forward, and try and be more positive. I know it's difficult in the 73rd, 75th minute, and you're 5-1 down. Probably starting to get a bit tired now and a bit ragged.
And for Western Springs, they enjoy a scoreline that will have them on top of the table in terms of a live table for the National Women's League offside flag. And credit both teams and the officials that it's been very free-flowing, very few blasts of the whistle, and it's been good communication certainly with the players. So Southern just a little deflated now, and you described it, Harry. It's just managing the final 15 minutes or so of this one, and not incurring any further significant damage, as one of the Southern players has gone down here, and we're, I'm sure, about to see a break in the game and allow this player to get some attention. I didn't quite catch the number, but Harry, this is always concerning because it didn't appear there was anyone else involved.
She'd passed the ball. I think it was Kelsey Kennard, passed the ball and actually just collapsed after. So it'd be interesting to see. Hopefully she's okay. It wasn't Kelsey number 4. It might have been.
I think it might be Hannah Mackay-Wright. Now, you hope that this might just be a bit of cramp, because the alternative in a situation like that is if there's concern about a knee, it's not the preferred alternative. And that was my concern, is that she immediately clutched it.
Yeah.
The right knee.
Probably her ankle by the looks of things.
Number 13, Sam Tafaru, making her way for number 22, Maya Life.
Yeah, it looks like she might have just rolled her ankle. Andrew, after that pass.
Yeah, you're right. I guess knee, but it looks like, let's have another look.
She
As
is.
soon as she passes. Oh, yeah. She's just rolled the right ankle. And it just collapsed on itself, didn't it, Harry? So the good news is she's up and walking off under
absolutely
her own steam, but they can be ligament injuries that take 2 or 3 minutes to really feel the full effect.
Yeah, I think your first comment there, Andrew, was, guys, it could have been a need, isn't it? It did look like it was. As soon as she passed the ball, she went to ground.
Meanwhile, Western Springs have made a change. And we just saw on our graphics that Maya Lythe has replaced the very impressive Sam Tawharu. So I'm sure that's just reward for a good shift for Sam Tawharu and a chance now for Maya Lythe to enjoy the last 13 minutes or so. So play gets back underway again. Loose ball into midfield. Abby Rankin collecting that one and trying to bring her teammates forward. And rather than passing, they're dribbling their way into trouble, Southern, and they turn it over and they have to readjust. They're still down to 10 as far as we can ascertain, with Mackay Wright off the park. Here they come, left wing side though, Whitaker just trying to keep her feet. Cross comes in handy, ball across, and a great header towards goal from Diaz. Just goes wide. That is impressive though, because she must be one of the smallest on the pitch. What a cross this is.
Yeah, nice cross too, wasn't it, from Charlotte Whitaker? And good work too from Kelsey Kinnard, who bought the ball, stepped into that line in midfield, won the ball. Nice pass to Chelsea Whitaker. And again, Diaz is the main lifeline, aren't they, for anything going forward for Southern United.
Yeah, we've highlighted the second miss for Diaz, but she'll score goals this season. She's shown that she's got a striker's instincts, but she's clearly got some real ability with the ball at feet. And we just saw there, though, that she can also get on the end of a cross and belie her lack of height with great positioning. With two substitutes, Takeda and Hirano, a little interchange. Takeda, she tries one from distance. That was a little more controlled and perhaps inspired by Maggie Peterson's goal, with just trying to catch Simmers off her line. Here is one of the Springs goal scorers. I reckon she might enjoy talking about that one at training this week. What do you do, Harry? Do you argue your case? Do you absolutely say, no, always shooting?
Hey, at the end of the day, if it was a cross or a shot, it's, her name's on the score sheet, whatever it is.
Oh, I reckon you stand your ground as well.
You just take it, wouldn't you?
He's live. Substitute. In fact, it's Garcia who's gone more central. Simmers makes the save initially, but then was slow to react, and that cost them. Or is there an offside flag? There is an offside flag, so that won't count. So you have to assume, Harry, that when the shot is played towards goal, that the offside occurs by Lythe there, which rules her offside then. when she does score. Garcia, of course, sitting on that hat-trick, so she's gone more central, live wide on the left. So that might be a point of interest over the closing 9 minutes as to whether the American, Sofia Garcia, can get a hat-trick. There she is on the halfway line, battling away. Not sure that she realised the defender had retreated. Jervis, who has shown real passing range. That one doesn't find its intended target though. Taitimu looking at a switch of play. Kolpe was the intended recipient. A little bit too much spice on the pass though. Takeda. Just perhaps going away from what served them well through the majority of this match, Springs. They're looking at a killer pass quite often, aren't they, Harry? Just avoiding midfield, and perhaps they just need to retain their composure and stick to the game plan.
Yeah, players are probably getting a bit tired 10 minutes ago. You're not willing to make that extra run or run the extra 5 metres to try and receive a pass. But they are doing it quite comfortably at the moment, Western Springs.
Takeda went flying in. Garcia strong. Kolpe. Southern still defending determinedly. Takeda getting forward, cut out though by Mackay Wright, who's just got some strapping around the outside of the football boot after that turning of the right ankle. Hirano wins it for the Springs. Little 1-2. Has Garcia, can she find the American? Remember, sitting on a hat-trick. And, well, got the whistle, but looked as though that was a little premeditated from Hirano. And, in fact, a yellow card is shown to Kelsey Kennard.
Yeah, I think Hirano just one more touch. I think extra. I think that one could have been played out wide just a tad earlier.
Perhaps a little tug of the jersey is what sent Hirano tumbling. Change there for Western Springs with Anya Irvine set to get the last 5 minutes of this one.
Substitutions, Western Springs. Number 6, JDC.
And also taking the field is Helena O'Connor for the impressive young Emma Painenberg. So a chance for Ryan Faithful to give a couple of the subs some vital experience here in the National League. What's talking young, what's Lara Kolpe got here from the set piece? Surely well within her range here. Players lining up towards the far post in what is, though, quite a central set piece opportunity. Kolpe perhaps eyeing up top left corner as far as the keeper's concerned. She drives that straight at the wall. Didn't get the purchase she wanted, and Southern survive. Rankin, Whitaker being hassled there by O'Connor, who continues the hassling. Whitaker eventually comes away with it over the halfway line, just stumbles, lost her footing. Good challenge by Taitimu. Takeda, the two Japanese players, they are on the same wavelength so many times, and keen to get forward is the fullback Takeda. 3 minutes plus stoppage time to play here, and the result has been confirmed for some time, you would think here, but Southern have shown enough, do you think, Harry? I mean, it's not the result they'll want at the start of the defence of their title, but they've shown some patches of form, haven't they, that suggest they can improve on this as the season goes on.
Yeah, I think the way they played the balls around, in and around and over the top behind the Springs defence in the first half proved, fruitful for them, but they really have lacked some support up front for Diaz. I know Whitaker's sort of tried to get there in and around out of midfield, but they've just lacked the quality to keep the ball for longer periods, to bring players into the game.
So a late change. It looks as though it might well have been as a result of an injury, but Freya Partridge-Moore is on, wearing 14, replacing Talia Room, who just kind of fell to the turf and then stepped off the park. So both teams have pretty much cleared their benches, not always on a voluntary basis. There have been a couple of injury concerns here this afternoon that we hope are not too serious. Southern, have they got a second and what would most certainly be a consolation goal in them? Rankin. Here is the sub. Stolen away by Western Springs, and they might exploit some space here now. Pedersen just a bit of a heavy touch there and brought the attack to an abrupt halt. Western Springs, though, Harry, obviously they'd be well pleased with the result. I mean, 5-1 is comprehensive in anyone's language. But what about the performance? Have they got some work-ons as well?
Oh, look, I think they've looked very confident through this game. I don't think they've looked in any threat of actually losing this game. I think at the back, there were a couple of, the Diaz goal and the second Diaz chance in the first half. Probably needs to be tidied up a little bit more, and I think Ryan Faithful will be making sure they tidy that up through training during the week. But no, I think from a quality perspective, they've just got too good.
Garcia for the hat-trick, and she has her third goal. Sorry, Harry, but that is a real highlight for Sofia Garcia, who just pulled the trigger, and she is delighted, the American, with a hat-trick in what is now a 6-1 scoreline.
Yeah, I was just going to say that the quality that the Springs have had this afternoon has been superior to that of Southern, and a 6-1 result. Garcia, third goal, player of the game. So at the moment, taking a hat trick. Painenberg in the middle, in this particularly in the 60 or 70 minutes that she did play, looked promising out of the middle of the park. Tafaro came off, she'd scored. So I think they've got Kolpe on the right-hand side's had a good game as well. So all over the park, I think, particularly in the midfield and up front, they've had the quality to be too good for Southern this afternoon.
And this is now a scoreline that will confirm Western Springs on top of the live table. There's still a match to come this afternoon, of course, with Auckland United playing Northern Rovers. I doubt, though, we're going to see a 5-goal separation between those two teams.
You never know.
This, you would think, is going to see Western Springs nestled at the top of the table at the end of round one. There is that live ladder. Goal difference of 5, nudging Eastern Suburbs, who had that 4-1 win. It might get better. It might get better. Colby. Oh, she was so unselfish. Looked like she might have been lining up a shot, and she played an angled pass looking for a teammate. So into the minimum 5 minutes of time to be added on here at the end of the second half. And this one will be followed by that clash that we will bring to you with a 3 o'clock kickoff. Auckland United up against Northern Rovers. Looking forward to that one, Harry.
Yeah, that one should be a good game, shouldn't it? Those two teams have had a number of good games throughout the course of the season. Obviously the Kate Shepherd Cup final last week as well.
Jervis just lets that one go out over the sideline.
I'm even impressed with the quality that's come off the bench for Western Springs. So good depth within the squad.
Lithe looking to make room for the shot and ultimately was worried out of it. Southern still defending at times like their lives depend on it. Pedersen advancing, rolls a pass here for Colby. She pulls it back across goal and just going wide. And that would have been an own goal. So desperate defending there from the injured Hannah Mackay-Wright. See the strapping on the right ankle. She just got anything on that to avoid it reaching Garcia. Corner for Western Springs. Final moments. First header is won, and the clearance indeed comes from Hannah Mackay-Wright. Yes, they'll see this as a really good start to their campaign. Western Springs finishing second in the Northern League. They were the only team to beat Northern Rovers in the league. So there's no one for them to be fearful of in this competition. It does certainly look like being a pretty tough competition to win, though, Harry, with Eastern Suburbs looking good in their win. Canterbury are always a threat. They had a 3-0 win yesterday. And the match that we've talked about coming up this afternoon, Auckland United and Northern, they'll both fancy their chances.
It's what you want, isn't it, Andrew? You want the best teams, you know, albeit being a hybrid format with federations and club teams, but you want the best players in the country from a domestic perspective playing against each other in a competition. It's be fantastic for exposure for these players and what's going to be a fantastic season for women's football in the next 12 months.
And that brings a halt to proceedings here, and it's been a very good afternoon for the home side, Western Springs, with a hat-trick to that American, that young lady, Sophia Garcia. She will write most of the headlines on the back of her goal-scoring feats, but impressive performances right across the Western Springs lineup sees them turn what was a 2-0 lead and a 2-1 halftime lead into a 6-1 victory over Southern United. As we sign off from Seddon Field, we look forward to your company in about 8 minutes' time as we bring you the second match this afternoon. It'll be Auckland United up against Northern Rovers.
Capital 1, Eastern Suburbs 4, Canterbury Pride 3, Central 0.